Rome, 410 Common Era. The city is surrounded by barbarian king Alaric. A messenger rushes into the Roman Senate.
The Visigoth king Alaric names his price: 5,000 pounds of gold, 30,000 of silver, and 3,000 pounds of Indian pepper.
Yes, pepper. But this isn't about food, it's psychological warfare. Alaric is telling Rome, I'll hurt you where it hurts. You cannot season your soup with gold, can you? Alaric weaponized Rome's addiction to an Indian spice. The panicky Roman Senate decides to pay. Alaric has exploited a dependency as real as any modern state's addiction to oil, semiconductors, or rare earths. This isn't a trade story. This is an addiction story. Addiction of the West to Indian pepper and other spices. For 3,000 years, the West chased India. Columbus died trying to reach us. I am Sarvajit, and subscribe to listen to stories that turn the familiar narrative on its head. Welcome to India's Golden Age podcast. Welcome to India's century. Archaeologists are digging through a Roman soldier's cold latrine at Hadrian's wall, the frozen edge of Roman Empire, the wall that separated them from the barbarians. They find coins, pottery shards, and then shockingly peppercorns from Kerala in a toilet in Britain in 120 Common Era. Roman soldiers on the frontier were eating Indian pepper with their porridge. Brothels spiced their cheap wine with it. In Pompeii, they found pepper in an ordinary kitchen before the volcano erupted. A last meal flavored by India. This wasn't elite luxury. This was mass market globalization. Pepper's story begins long before Rome, at least 3,000 years ago. Cut to 1881. Archaeologists unwrap Pharaoh Ramesses II. They expect gold, jewels, and treasures of Egypt. What they find instead is startling. Black peppercorns from Kerala packed inside the pharaoh's nose. Think of the routes those seeds traveled: the Nile, the desert, the Red Sea, the Arabian Sea, all to deliver a single spice into the afterlife of a king. Pepper was prestige, pepper was currency, pepper was power. Now let me take you aboard the ship Hermopolis in 150 Common Era. Captain Marcus has mortgaged his life savings, literally signed a contract at 24% interest to fill his ship with wine, copper, and lots of gold. He's sailing from Egypt to a place most Romans have never heard of, Muziris, on India's Malabar coast. The voyage ahead is brutal. 3 months across the Arabian Sea under monsoon winds that can split a hull. Marcus has only one certainty. If he returns with pepper, he becomes super wealthy. If he fails, his family loses everything. We know all this because archaeologists found his contract, the Muziris Papyrus, a document that reads like $1 billion invoice. His cargo was valued at 9 million sesterces, 500 talents of pepper, 60 chests of nard, 4,800 talents of ivory, Roman taxes or Trump tariff 25%, Indian guild fees 20%. All in one ship, one man, one colossal bet. When Marcus reaches India, it's dawn at Muziris, and the Periyar River glitters like gold. Roman coins are piled onto bronze scales in staggering quantities. Tamil tax collectors record everything on palm leaf ledgers with calm efficiency. Around them, workers lift sacks of paper so heavy a child could disappear inside. Marcus knows the rule here. Indians want only gold and silver, maybe a little Roman wine for a South Indian prince's sweetheart. Nothing else matters in Atmanirbhar Bharat. In the warehouses behind him, women do the skilled labor, sorting by grade, sun drying to precise moisture levels, quality control. Tamil poetry even mentions their pepper stained fingers. On his way back alongside Marcus's ship, another battered vessel limps into Berenike, Egypt. The cargo inside is worth a fortune. But the real story walks down the gangplank. Tamil and other South Indian sailors from coastal communities step off first on the Egyptian shore, sunburned, exhausted. Some of these Indians were traders themselves. They worked with Arab middlemen and Buddhist guilds from Sri Lanka, creating a reliable supply chain across 3 continents. They provided home delivery of pepper to Rome long before the idea existed. These were some of the earliest India diaspora workers. Before Dubai, before H1B, their presence is not a footnote. It is the beginning of India's NRI story. In their stay at Berenike homesick, they carved their names, a quiet act of rebellion against obscurity. This was high stakes global trade network, industrial scale, ancient efficiency. India sat in the middle and controlled the flow. Cut to 77 Common Era. Pliny the Elder complains that India is draining Rome of 50 million sesterces a year. He blames foreign luxury and feminine decadence. Yet, Romans pour pepper into everything: meat, wine, soup. They crave what they denounce. Sounds familiar. Great powers blame foreign goods for domestic decay. Chinese EV cars, Indian IT H1B. But pepper didn't weaken Rome. Currency collapse, military overstretch, corruption. Rome weakened itself. But like now, blaming India was easier. And while Roman senators obsessed over lost gold, on the Malabar coast, the picture is the opposite. Roman gold funded temples, it built infrastructure, roads, it supported scholars, poets. What Rome calls a loss becomes South India's gain. It helped build a civilization. The textbooks say Greek Hippalus cracked the code of monsoon winds and opened the floodgates of pepper trade. But the story has holes. Indian and Arab sailors had used those winds for centuries. The Tamil Sangam poem Purana Nuru describes seasonal winds in detail, predating Hippalus by at least 100 years. Before that, the mariners of Orissa, India, journeyed to Southeast Asian countries during the north monsoon and returned during the southwest monsoon. Hippalus didn't discover anything. He learned it from Indian sailors, and then he took the credit. Sounds familiar? This pattern repeats across history. Indian systems of medicine, agriculture, maths, and astronomy were rebranded as European breakthroughs. Even today, when India files patents for turmeric, neem, yoga, the West calls it biopiracy. The truth is simple. Whoever shapes the narrative controls the market. India never invested enough in that fight, but that tide is turning. The narrative is shifting back, tweet by tweet, podcast by podcast. Another narrative game in the medieval ages. Arabs told Europeans that pepper grew in forests guarded by dragons. The berries turned black when harvesters set the forest ablaze. Europe brought every word and paid for it. The lie was a genius. Keep the buyer scared and he will never try to reach the source. This was information asymmetry long before the term existed. Kerala's pepper monopoly lasted more than 3,000 years thanks to the unique climate of the Western Ghats. That advantage ended in the 17th century when the Dutch successfully transplanted pepper to Java. Soon it spread through Sumatra and then Brazil. India's monopoly collapsed almost overnight. The lesson is strikingly modern. Semiconductors, rare earths, pharmaceuticals, no advantage is permanent. To stay ahead, India must continuously innovate. Another important thing was that as Romans paid for pepper with gold coins, the Indians immediately melted them down. They did not trust Caesar's face, they trusted the intrinsic value of gold. Rome relied on fiduciary value, the idea that the government's promise was enough. India relied on purity. Fiduciary value is a collective hallucination. It works until it doesn't. Buy gold, sell the dollar. Pepper was not the standalone export. Ideas traveled with it. Zero, astronomy, philosophies like nirvana. Kerala welcomed traders from across the world Romans, Jews, Christians, Muslims, Chinese. Yet, it remained unmistakably Indian. Strong cultures absorb and synthesize. Weak culture build walls. Vasudev Kutumbakam, the world is a family. India welcomed everyone, assimilated everyone, and remained India. That's civilizational confidence. Finally, no pepper story is complete without Columbus. Columbus took the gamble. He sailed west to reach India and end the middleman monopoly. He died believing he had succeeded. But his failure to reach India, as we know, changed world history. The New World was discovered by accident because Europe was desperate to break the spice stranglehold. So the next time you reach your pepper grinder, remember that the everyday spice once built ports, funded empires, and connected three continents. Pepper story is one of the most fascinating chapters of India's first golden age. It has lessons that matter as we enter into the second golden age in this decade, in this India's century. If the journey sparked something in you, subscribe, follow, and keep exploring. And step into my Gupta Golden Age universe through my upcoming novel Dhruvadevi, the forgotten queen who made Chandragupta Vikramaditya. Do you have a favorite pepper story or recipe? Share with us. Bye for now. Jai Hind.